There's also some heat around VJ Edgecombe. I had a talk with one of my buddies in Charlotte who used to work at the Hornets with me, who will remain nameless, but somebody who's curious from a basketball perspective what VJ Edgecombe is like as a player. And he reached out to me because he knows, I'm here. I called a bunch of his games this year. And really, I'm not a scout, but by calling a lot of his games, I have access to the people I'm calling the games with who are analysts who know a lot about basketball. I see how these guys move, their body language. I see how Coach Drew interacts with them and talks to them in shoot-arounds. There's a lot for people in Charlotte to get excited about. If VJ Edgecombe possibly falls to you at number 4 in the draft, my buddy was like, is he a good kid? I was like, oh my God, like he's beyond a good kid from all I could tell, right? I didn't go home with him, but the way that he interacted with his coaching staff, with the media, with his teammates was like, oh, this dude gets it. And then a phenomenal athlete who, and King McClure talked to me about this early in the year, you watch him shoot free throws, he's got a good jumper and he has a smooth jumper. And we saw it at times this year completely catch fire. In January, I think he was like 60% from 3. And if he kept that going, he'd probably be a top 2 pick. I think the only knock on him, and we've talked about it here on this show, is that he doesn't take over a game. But Scotty, you feel like Charlotte would be the perfect place for VJ to go because now he's with
My first statement to you was I do kind of feel like the Charlotte Hornets are the Cleveland Browns of the NBA, and I would hate for VJ to go there. But then, no, I said they've got some exciting young talent.
Yes.
Where they are not and it's rare for them, they are not drafting out of a need to get an alpha.
Yeah.
They need another young kid who can score.
Yes.
And that's VJ. And what you get with VJ too is a kid who's elite defensively, is going to make plays in transition, can pass well. Like he's a multi-tool player that fits what they have. Yeah. And I do think that's where it's a better situation than if a team's like, we've got a bunch of C and B role players that need a star. That's what I would say is, well, VJ has not shown the ability to just take over a game and be an alpha yet. But he doesn't have to be. I mean, they've got Ball and they've got I forget who else is on that team right now, but they've got some
Brandon Miller.
Talent. Yeah.
I mean, he's
I would rather VJ go to San Antonio at number 2 and play with those cats, but that's not going to happen.
Can you tell me who the head coach is of the Charlotte Hornets?
No.
I mean, honestly. I can now because I saw last night. But when he was representing the Charlotte at the draft, I was like, who's that guy? Charles Lee, the Hornets head coach. I was like,
what's his resume? I don't even know who he is.
I'm sure when he got hired, I looked at it, and I'm sure he's a fine coach, but like I knew nothing about it,